Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. Thank you everyone that submitted questions on my Game of Thrones videos this week. The big news right now is that Kit Harington just signed up to do a big movie this summer with Carice Van Houten, with Melisandre. They're gonna make a shadow baby together. It's actually called Brimstone. It stars Dakota Fanning. It's like a big genre movie, but it'll be a blockbuster. For those that are worried that this might mean that neither of them will be in Game of Thrones Season 6, don't worry about it. Game of Thrones is filming all the way through the rest of the year, like all the way up to December. What's likely to happen is that they'll just be in a little bit of Game of Thrones Season 6. They have to follow up on the finale anyway. But as we learned with Bran's storyline, they can put characters to the side for a while, even if they're big characters, and then bring them back later. So Bran will be back, less of Jon Snow and Melisandre. And that's to say nothing of what Jon Snow's final fate is. Really, the surprise of the announcement is that Carice Van Houten is doing the movie too, so she might not be in as many Game of Thrones episodes. But on to questions. Careful for spoilers if you haven't finished Season 5 yet. So here we go. First question. Fleek asks. Fleek, it rhymes with reek. I'm new to GOAT, so here's my question for the Q&A. Does the Red God and the Many-Faced God ever cross paths? If so, are they enemies or allies? I know there's a lot of people that wonder if some of the gods are really just different aspects of the same god, particularly the Many-Faced God. I think that for the most part, the bigger deities that we see in the Song of Ice and Fire are different. So the Many-Faced God is someone different from the Red God, is different from the Great Other. The Great Other, for those that don't remember, is the god of the White Walkers. The reason he's called that is because sometimes the White Walkers are called the Others. So naturally being a god, he'd be the greatest other. As much as George R. R. Martin makes up the plot as he goes along, I think he has a pretty strong idea of how he views deities. It's one of those things that he declines to answer in discrete terms. So if you want to believe that they're all the same God, there's technically no way to disprove that right now. So it's still open to interpretation. And I don't think that they're enemies or allies. I think that they're just two different interests. I don't think they care about each other. Like Jaqen H'ghar said, it's all the same to the Many-Faced God. Next question, Joey P asks, could it be that there's some warging involved? Maybe Kit doesn't come back as Jon, but as a new actor. No, I mean, I think that they would stick with Kit Harington if they brought him back, or if he warged into an animal. I know that they've recast other actors on the show, even big ones, like they've recast the Mountain 3 times, but that was more for practical purposes, like they just wanted like a hulking monstrosity. But just to talk about warging for a second, the show hasn't really explained it, but all of the Stark children are wargs. It's just that Bran is the only one that understands how that works. I mean, he's really a greenseer, so that's like an extra added level. They talk about wolf dreams in the books. Those are warg dreams. They're seeing through their direwolves' eyes. So any of the Stark children that have direwolves that are still alive would still have wolf dreams. Next question, Lenny asks, do you think that Cersei even cares or thinks about Tyrion at the moment? She has so many other problems. I think she kind of forgot about him. No, I don't think that Cersei will ever forget about Tyrion. She will find a way to blame him for all of her problems. When Robert Strong was carrying Cersei off at the end of this season, she was full of hate for a lot of people, particularly the Faith of the Seven. You can see it in her eyes there. She's got like her own Arya list of names that she's just going to work her way down. Let's try to guess who's at the top of her list. Let's guess like the top 3. So we'll say Tyrion, Margaery, Tyrell, and the High Sparrow. Next question, Top Shelf asks, who gets Dragonstone now that House Baratheon is gone? I would say that'd be something that the Crown would decide, or the Small Council. Like Kevin Lannister would probably pick someone. Typically, the next person in the line of succession is the one that gets appointed Prince of Dragonstone, like the title. It's like Prince Charles being Prince of Wales. Tommen doesn't have a cousin anymore, and there aren't any Baratheons that we know about that they could pass it on to. So it would either pass to a Baratheon cousin, or they would give it to one of the Tyrells as a way to get them out of the way. But I would just expect Kevin Lannister as head of the Small Council to make that call. Next question, Drew asks, if Jon is dead, is there a POV character at the Wall to continue the story there? Well, technically Bran and Davos are POV characters, but they'd have to change a bunch of book things to make that work. It's just that those characters in the books aren't anywhere near the Wall. Bran is way north with the three-eyed raven. Davos is still in the north, but he's south of the Wall. There is some Melisandre POV in Dance with Dragons, but I don't think that she's a POV character in Winds of Winter. At least I'm not sure yet. They haven't confirmed like all the final POV characters yet. Next question, Caitlin asks, how, in your opinion, will the Night's Watch react when they meet the White Army? So you're talking about the White Walkers. Well, they'll all poop their pants and then turn tail and run. Alistair Thorne is a tough son of a bitch, so he probably wouldn't run, but he wouldn't be able to defend against them. Half of the remaining brothers would definitely take off. The other half would try and fail to fight them, to keep them coming through the wall. Just going into theory crafting territory, what I'm really hoping to see is that the White Walker army arrives at the wall and the Night's King finds a way to bring the wall down. It's implied in the books that there's an enchantment keeping them from passing through the wall. Like, otherwise a long time ago, they would have just climbed over. So they have to have a way to bring down the enchantments in addition to bringing down the giant wall of ice. It would be such a bummer if they just blasted through the gate and walked through. I mean, 700-foot wall of ice, most powerful magics in the world. Why wouldn't you try to bring the wall down? That would be just like the biggest IMAX episode they could do ever. Next question, Joanne asks, heard about the season 6 script leak. Check it out. I know what you're talking about. It's not a script. It's actually an audition that leaked. There was a woman that was auditioning for the Red Priestess that they're trying to cast for next season for the Eastern storyline. One of the directors said that they have about 6 episodes written already, so it could be actual dialogue that we would see in season 6. The biggest takeaway is that, of all the characters that people are wondering, are they alive, are they dead, just excluding Jon Snow, it implies that one of those people is actually dead. And when I say excluding Jon Snow, like it's not Jon Snow related. The same thing happened last year with the Tyene Sand scene with Bronn, where she takes her clothes off and gives him the antidote to the poison. That leaked, people thought it might be fake, but then it turned up word for word in the episode, so this might be the same thing. So just caution for spoilers, I'm not going to read the dialogue here. But the only real takeaway that I took from it is X character is probably really dead. Next question, Alexander asks, if they bring Jon back to life, do you think they would name him a Stark? I want to see him hold on to the throne of the Seven Kingdoms. I think he's the best character to be king. I'm sure you and a whole lot of other people. No, I think that he would stick with the same name, although the wildlings and the other people would just be WTF, they might call him something else. Think about what happened to Daenerys after she hatched the dragon eggs. She went from being Daenerys Stormborn to Daenerys Mother of Dragons. So if they bring Jon back, it might be something like that, a name like that. The only people on the show right now that could legitimize him would be the Lord of his house, the Lord of Winterfell, current Lord, the King, Tommen Baratheon, or Daenerys if she took over Westeros, if she was able to take the Iron Throne and became the true queen. The only thing that Tommen can do that nobody else can is free him from his vows to the Night's Watch. Stannis Baratheon was temporarily a king during the War of the Five Kings, so that's why he said that he would do that for Jon, free him of his vows and name him a Stark. That's kind of a technicality. Really, Tommen Baratheon's the only one that could do that. Next question, Chris asks, do you think that the Hound would ever come back to fight Robert Strong? Well, I mean, there are a lot of clues from the books, which I'm not going to explain here, just in case you haven't read the books. But, yes, it's possible, but I think at this point it would be kind of obvious. The fan theory is called Clegane Bowl. Most of you probably know what that is. It's just, Clegane versus Clegane. In my mind, it's in R plus L equals J territory of fan theories. It's just people think that it's all but confirmed. There is a new character that they're casting for next season that's tied up in that plot, but I don't know if they're going to bind him to the Gravedigger. For the most part, I wouldn't expect it. If it does end up happening, you can pop bottles and pour champagne all over each other. Next question, Gustav asks, if they were to change something about Robert's Rebellion in the Tower of Joy flashback, what do you think it is? So you're saying, if they do a Tower of Joy flashback, say with Sir Arthur Dayne and Lyanna Stark, how would they do it? I'll actually present an alternate theory that I think is kind of interesting. That the flashback, if we do get Sir Arthur Dayne, won't be to the Tower of Joy. It'll be Jaime's flashback, and he'll be flashing back to his encounter with the Smiling Knight. He fought this really infamous outlaw called the Smiling Knight. Sir Arthur Dayne was there and ended up saving him, defeating the Smiling Knight. It's just another event from history involving Sir Arthur Dayne and another big character from the show. And most of the flashbacks on the show tend to be for characters that are still alive. So we'll see how it goes. Thank you so much for submitting questions for the Q&A this week, everyone. These are always a ton of fun to do. We're almost at Comic-Con. They've announced the cast that they're bringing. Kit Harington is not on that list, so just fueling fan theories. He hasn't cut his hair yet. Unless there's some crazy casting news or anything like that, my next bonus video is going to be for the Tyrells. It's going to be a history of Highgarden in the transition from the Gardeners to the Tyrells, back after the War of Conquest. So be sure to subscribe to get that. I'll be doing a new round of the giveaway. It'll probably post on Sunday. Congratulations to this week's giveaway winner, Ross Bauer. You win an Amazon gift card. Just be sure to private message me on my channel so I can get your contact info. I don't know what the full schedule is going to be for Comic-Con. Once they post that, I'll do a special video saying what I'm going to be doing. But I'll be doing panel videos and trailers just like last year. So there'll be a bunch of extra stuff the week of Comic-Con. For For those asking about a meetup though, I will be doing a meetup. I don't know which day it's going to be on. I'm waiting for that final schedule to post, so then I'll announce it. I don't have any merch or anything like that to give away. In future years, what I'll probably do is I'll bring like special prints or t-shirts, just like stuff to give to people. In case you guys missed it, I posted some Arkham Knight gameplay yesterday. I have my Twitch channel up and working again. I changed some of my audio setup, so I might be doing more Twitch streaming. I'll probably try this weekend. If you don't know where the link for that is, there's one in the description. All the video game stuff I do though, that'll post to my Charlie Streams bonus channel. I don't really intend to post a lot of gameplay videos to this channel or anything like that. In case you guys haven't seen it yet, I posted a casting video for a bunch of characters that they're looking for Season 6. You can click here to learn all about them, and you can click here for that Arkham Knight video. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Let's high five. I'll see you guys tonight.